eligible for the under section. Remember, the first year we had this tournament, 2024, Yuj won both events. So pretty unbelievable stuff there. And there we see him very calmly at the board. He's already got that gamer's chair. I find that the kids these days, one of the ways they like to imitate the pros, and actually Yuj, we can already call a pro, is to sit in that gamer's chair.
Yeah. And I think we can definitely call Yaz a pro. I mean, he even told me once that he doesn't actually go to school. Yeah, the school is kind of more of a side quest for the time being. He's kind of dedicating all of his intention to getting as good as he can in chess, and he has good reason. Like, he recently played in the Tata Steel Masters, did exceptionally well there, and he does play with the white pieces against Sklokin, just 12 years old. There was his opponent. Can't wait to see how Sklokin gets on in this one. He's already taken down Gukesh on an over-the-board game. We'll see how he gets on online.
Yeah, quite a battle to start out. And by the way, you did say Tata Steel. The winner of the Challengers section is going to play in the afternoon. The defending ChessKid Youth Champion, Andy Woodward, bearer of the highest bullet rating of all time on chess.com. He is going to play the afternoon session at 2 p.m. Eastern. But of course, we're going to focus on this one. It's 10 games. The target score is usually around 6.5 or 7. 6.5 or 7, you can virtually punch your ticket. 5.5 or 6, you're in the gray area about finishing in the top 2. So we're looking for that score of, like I said, 6.5 or 7 to get to Sunday's action. So big test, though, for Sergey to start out. As you said, there we see the overhead. Games are going to start at any moment. And for a lot of these kids, it's the first time on the big map. I mean, Henry Tudor, I know him. He's played in a couple smaller ChessKid events, but he's representing the resurgent Romanian chess community. Big stuff happening in Romania these days.
Absolutely. And with the Grand Chess Tour, that's how I actually first heard about him, because he was there as a guest. He's been coached by Ivan Sokolov himself, but I'm seeing that the moves are getting played on our screen. The action is kicking off. And again, lots of nice things. We are seeing a London system from Yagiz Kaan there on the bottom left, and Julia Marie, that's a C3 Sicilian. That's something that she's played before. And Tudor, Henry Tudor, he is going for what is a Queen's Gambit Decline Exchange variation. So some classical games so far, but where is your attention being caught?
Well, let's take a look at Yuzh's game. It's interesting. He opened up with the London because you know who else opened up with round 1 London was Bodana, the finalist of the under 13 section. She played the London in her opening game 2 weeks ago, went on to win 9.5 out of 10. So maybe he's taking a page out of the younger Bodana's book. Anyway, his knight has come to b3. Now, I was told when was in my fledgling youth that knights never belong on b3 or b6, but this knight does possibly have a path to c5 one day. So it's not the normal situation of a knight being on b3, and it was probably the best way to guard b2 anyway. But what do you see going on, Yovi, in this game between Yuj and Sergey?
Well, this is, I think, a very modern take on the London system. You do put your knight on b3, primarily because, as you mentioned, you don't want to make any structural weaknesses when you're defending b2. And you can play it like a multi-dimensional game. You know, you expand on the queen side, a4. Now you've got the control of the b5 square. And then, you know, the center is pretty stable. So it's all about then just putting your pieces on the right spot. Sometimes you might even see h4 make an appearance on the right side of the board, with white just trying to gain as much space as possible.
Yeah, and it's also a good time to go ahead and give Mr. Aman Hambleton a shout out, because he just released his Chessable course on the London. So we'll bring our Chessable monkey into view right here. We're going to call him Aman until some other Chessable opening comes up. So we can do a deep dive later on, or you can do a deep dive by grabbing his course. But okay, so after C3, I'm still going to give you the question, is this knight coming to c5 one day? I mean, you've got to guard b2, or do you? Because the queen's going to look a little loose if she grabs that poison pawn.
Yeah, I think you can wait with jumping in with a knight to c5. I think just focus on the other pieces. I think the argument is really that the knight on b3 might be a little bit misplaced for the time being, but then so is the queen on b6. She's out of the action as well. So we're seeing some small improvements there on the king side, h3 being played. And again, the ball is being put back in black's court. There's kind of saying, well, you come up with a move, you come up with a plan as well, because there's no bishop on d7. It's not a great piece.
I'm going to give you a little question here. I'm going to go back a move here. Actually, I don't have to go back a move because now it's white's. Okay, the players are moving so quickly. But
Yeah.
my idea for white was to hop the knight into e5. And the knight is so annoying that if the black knight takes, we take back with the pawn. We force the knight to move. We get our queen to h5 very quickly. Now, white, I think it looks like he's dropped the bishop back. So you're just going to put the queen on d3 and do it in a little bit more controlled way. But once we see that, I think we're going to see this knight hop into e5, and the knight won't be able to be touched. Because if you capture the knight, the pawn will take, and because we've got this battery, it looks like very bad things will happen to black on that light square diagonal.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I love the way that Erdogmus was playing. I mean, I saw there in the chat that 2,700. I'm sure that's going to be the next target for this youngster. It just feels like anything is possible for him. He's even been name-checked by Magnus as a massive talent to follow. But I was seeing knight to d2, stepping away from this plan that I found so attractive. And you also mentioned there jumping in with a knight to e5, but I'm sure Yaz has got aggressive intentions. I'm sure he's going to back that up with ideas such as queen f3, and then just getting ready to ask the questions to the 12-year-old opponent of his, how is he going to defend the king side when the queen is offside on b6?
Well, let's very quickly take a look at what he could have done. I think he brought his knight back to d2 to overprotect e4. So I'm going to go back in this game for just a moment, just very quickly, because I know the clocks are going to get low in just one moment. But instead, if queen to d3 happens, I think after knight to e5, if the knight takes and your pawn takes, and this knight tries to shut down the diagonal, there's a very, very juicy sacrifice of the rook on e4. And I'm not sure if black can actually survive. Let's give black a random move. I apologize, not the greatest move for black. But if the knight comes in and takes knight to e4, I'm really hoping that rook takes. Although now I'm looking at, I think rook takes. You can't play f3. And this is the kind of thing that I thought white should go for. Computer actually kind of agrees with my decision. But instead, let's go back to the live position. That kind of explains why his knight went back to d2, because I think he was trying to guard that e4 square. And now we are very quickly going to catch up to the live position. And this is the live game after bishop c6.
Yeah. And it's very much a case of what active plan will black have? How are they going to withstand the storm that is incoming? Look, the rook is going to e3, is getting ready to shift over. So I suspect a knight might come on to f8 just to kind of throw all the defenses towards the black king. And Sergey, you mustn't underestimate him. We mentioned many times, just 12 years old. Oh, hang on a second.
Well, he's trying to take advantage of the fact that bishop on c2. Well, the bishop c2 is in charge of the knight. So he's hoping that you can't trade everything on e4 because the knight's hanging. But you know what? What if you do it anyway, and then you take on h6? Okay, he takes on h6 first, but the point is, you can, oh my goodness, everything is falling apart. Black's king.
But wait, is this working?
Well,
the evaluation bar is telling us a different story. There was a bit of excitement there as it looked like everything was going for white. This is a great defense there from Sergey.
Yeah, bishop g5 shutting down the lines. And now can more white pieces join the attack? Because for the moment, the bishop and the knight are just sitting on the queen side, and the queen and rook are not enough to win. And the queen is running out of squares if she goes to g6. Okay.
And Yaz is just shocked. Yeah, I don't think he saw that one.
Sergey's
and
got
now
2
suddenly
seconds.
The tables are turned.
Yeah, but 2 seconds to defend.
But in just 1 second.
Double attack on g2, and he's going for broke because, frankly, he's got 2 seconds, and he might as well create some complications. If you push the pawn, the bishop's going to sack, or he's just going to take on f2. What do we do? f3? Rook takes g2 insta. The king is now, look at the king on f1. Black hangs the queen, and then checkmate with a bishop and a rook. 2 bishops and a rook. Unbelievable checkmate there. What an upset, Yogi, to start the action.
Yeah.